I started working in early years education in 2007 in the US. At the time, I didn't need any qualifications. I just needed to do decent on the interview and not have a criminal record. I didn't have any knowledge about early childhood development, and without beating myself up too much, I was honestly rubbish for years. And I probably would have left the field long ago if I didn't start to learn about early childhood development for myself. I often think about the old me back in that first preschool and how I view things now. I think the old me saw that children played because they just had so much energy they needed to burn off. So we gave them time to play so they could burn off the energy so we could do some adult-led activities at the table. And I think the old me saw that's where the quote, real learning happened. We gave children time to play so they can get out all their wiggles, so we can have a chance of them sitting still long enough to get to the adult-led activity. Now I know children play because their brains and bodies are in a distinct stage of development where they're driven to get into everything, and that's why they do get into everything. And while of course they can't get into everything 24/7, they greatly benefit from places where they can. And that's what we try to provide at Free to Learn. This view of learning and development, of course, is countercultural for most adults. I think the old me and most adults view real learning as something that only happens in a classroom, in a school. I absolutely used to share this viewpoint, and I understand where it comes from. But there's, before we can get to what many people view as real academic or real school learning, children need time to develop lots of things underneath the hood, so to speak.
One of the things that you learned that really changed your outlook, and you taught me, is that children learn through playing, that play is where most of the learning actually happens.
Yeah, play is how children build their brains, integrate their sensory system and their nervous system, and learn about who they are in the world.
Occupational therapists often refer to something called the sensory pyramid of learning. In this pyramid, academic learning is at the top, and that doesn't mean it's the most important. What that means is that it's supported by all the other aspects of human development that children go through. All of those other aspects of development are necessary in order for strong academic learning.
Everything below it is stuff to do with, again, children's sensory systems, their nervous system, their posture, their strength, their coordination. And the truth is, young children develop these things best through lots of outdoor, active, self-directed play. We might look into breaking down some of these blocks in the pyramid in future videos, but please trust that, just trust us, please.
Almost all of this happens through active, self-directed play, and children are getting a lot fewer opportunities for that kind of play than they used to, and there's increasingly an expectation to start academic learning earlier and earlier, but children are getting even less of that foundation that they need to succeed at academic learning first.
Yeah, schools are in a big rush to get kids to the pinnacle of the pyramid on increasingly shaky grounds. So for one example, when children are just playing and it looks frivolous and there's no point to it, I like to explain this to people is that they're actually strengthening their attention muscle. Like if we want children to grow up to people who can pay attention to others, pay attention to tasks at hand, they need time to pay attention as young children. We might not always know the point of their play or see the value in it, but humans get better at doing things by doing them, and it's no less true for young children. So if we want children to learn to pay attention, we have to give them opportunities to do so.
Why not just give the children opportunities to pay attention to their teachers?
Well, because you can train children to sit and listen to a story quietly and not wiggle and this and that, but it's honestly very superficial learning for young children. The dividends will pay off much more if you can let kids be kids at a young age and get what they're hardwired to do. There's a Peter Gray quote that I thought would be a good way to end this. Free play is the means by which children learn to make friends, overcome their fears, solve their own problems, and generally learn to take control over their own lives. It is also the primary means by which children practice and acquire the physical and intellectual skills that are essential for success in the culture in which they are growing. The things that children learn through their own initiatives in free play cannot be taught in other ways.